There it is. The industry and the gaming landscape is going to fall into an absolute pit of depravity, and we are honestly here for it. That's right. Microsoft, Xbox, you literally only had one job. I have never seen a company more inept in my entire life completely. The fact that Xbox is in literal last place right now and has had the actual opportunity to turn things around multiple times, and I've given them the benefit of the doubt to say, hey, you know what? Maybe they'll actually get their head out of their rear end and do something right for once. Maybe they'll go ahead and do something pro-consumer like they have been with backwards compatibility, with Game Pass. But you know what? All they had to do was one thing, and they in fact chose not to do that thing. And the only thing Xbox had to do was nothing. All they had to do was nothing. While everybody else was raising their prices, while Nintendo was making $80 games, while they were charging $450 for the Nintendo Switch 2, while PlayStation was making $700 consoles, while they were raising the prices of all their services, all Xbox had to do was listen to Valve and do literally nothing. Keep things as the status quo. Do things as they already were, and people would begin to flock to that platform. But no, they couldn't. Of course, like every single time that I always say, Xbox decided to step on a rake again. This has to be the most idiotic, moronic, stupid company on the face of the earth. Regardless of how you feel about my exclusives and, oh my God, a third party. What truly matters is what happens to the consumer directly. And what's happening in the gaming market right now is that we are seeing consistent price increases and price hikes year over year. This is the third time now that game consoles and prices of games have increased as well, and it is getting to be incredibly out of hand. Anybody sitting here looking me dead in the eye for the last 5 years while I made this kind of content telling me, oh, you're just a broke boy, get your money up. When is the line gonna be enough? When is it gonna be there, huh? What are you, Pokemon fans?
Like, oh my God, $28 for cookies? It's 4 bags. That's $7 a bag. I know math is hard. Like, if you're a broke boy, just say so. Anyway.
It is honestly completely reprehensible that so many other companies have been defended when they raise prices, talking about that's the price of the gaming industry. That's how things are going. Inflation, using the worst stupid inflation calculator I've honestly ever seen. But oh God, I'm going to crash out. All right. Let's go back to the beginning and see what actually happened, shall we? Because honestly, my emotions are getting a little bit too high, because the thing is, I am sick and tired of the gaming industry trying to every 20 minutes it possibly can. Let's go. You see, it turns out that the other day, Hazardor Gaming on Twitter posted this. Microsoft had an earnings call for Q3 of 2025, and here's what happened. Gaming revenue was up by 5%, hardware revenue was down by 6%, and content and services revenue was up by 8%. It was driven by growth in Xbox Game Pass, especially on PC, by 45%, and Call of Duty and Minecraft. This is actually pretty good news. The fact that the company was in a downslope for quite some time, the hardware dips in revenue of the actual console sales isn't as drastic as it normally was back in previous years, so at least that's leveled off, and they've started to actually increase and make some money back. Fantastic. Going third party was in fact the best thing for them. But it got even crazier because it turns out that Microsoft is now also the biggest publisher on PlayStation, as PC Game Pass hit 45% year-over-year growth. So not only is Microsoft getting the highest amount of sales from PlayStation on their platform, not only are they having the highest amount of growth for Game Pass on PC, they're making much more revenue than they did before. They're not having a downturn like they did previous years. So things got to be on the up and up, right? Things got to be looking good. Maybe if they just, like I said, stay on the same course and don't do anything, they'll actually do something positive. But what did Microsoft do instead? Microsoft will now be raising the prices of all Xbox Series consoles, and games are going to be confirmed to hit $80 by this holiday. The Xbox Series X is now $599. I can't, bro. A console that came out in 2020 is now $100 more expensive than it was when it launched. Explain to me in any conceivable fashion how this is even appropriate for anybody to put out. This is actually a bigger increase than what PlayStation did with their Slim model. Yeah, it's worse than that. The fact that you're spending $600 on a console, the idea of having a console now as a cheap, affordable option to get into gaming in the first place is now out the window. Why spend $600 on Xbox Series X when you can buy a Pro for $700? The literal PS5 Pro that is in fact an actual scam now looks like a good thing in comparison to the Series X that is $600, which is now a huge scam. How any company could be this actually is absurd to me. How they are literally going around and doing everything they possibly can to sabotage themselves in every sense of the word. They made games for Windows Live, so of course they're going to act this way too. But you know what? I wanted to pull something up that I remembered showing around recently. There was an interview with Phil Spencer back in 2024. Wait till you hear what he has to say about this. You're going to love this. With an interview with Business Insider, here's what Phil Spencer had to say about rising game prices. "We've raised the price of games," says Phil Spencer, the CEO of Microsoft Gaming, told GameFile, a newsletter focused on business of gaming. "We went through COVID. We found ways of getting more money per player. I think at some point you reach a peak on that, and frankly, it can go to some places that are manipulative that I am not a big fan of." Spencer continues by saying, "I don't think we're doing a good enough job of finding new players," Spencer said. "Let's pick consoles as a good example. We found 200 million global households that will play console games, and that number really hasn't changed in the last 5 to 6 years. The solution? Search for new customers by making Xbox games more accessible." You know what's going to make Xbox games more accessible, Philly Spencerino? Not raising the price of the console and the games outside of a bracket that people can't afford. Oh, God. It's so ridiculous. You morons, you clowns. You're sitting here causing the actual second crash of gaming because you're so obsessed with increasing the profit margin on a consistent basis that you are literally doing the thing you don't want to have happen. How on earth can you increase the market reach that you're trying to get if you're pricing people out of actually accessing the console and the games itself? I have never seen a company more idiotic, moronic, and stupid than Microsoft, literally getting the entire industry to hand them a potential W on a silver platter, as Nintendo gets lambasted for their price increases, as PlayStation gets lambasted for their price increases. And what do you clowns do? Like AMD being Nvidia's I'm gonna join the party too, guys. Boy, let's raise the game prices. No, you're doing the wrong thing. How many times do you have to take an L over and over to realize you are not that guy, my boy? It shouldn't be this way. You're in third place. You're losing everything. And the only thing you have to do is literally do nothing. And you can't even do that. The crazier part is the meme that I made was only supposed to be a meme. You guys stepping on a rake every single time you do one good thing, you do 2 bad things right behind it, isn't supposed to be a truth thing. It's not supposed to be something that is actually coming to fruition. It's supposed to be a joke, and you are watching this content and literally doing it yourselves. Hell, just like 2 weeks ago when I made a video about how you could exactly do something to be a positive force in the gaming industry, here's what I said. And hopefully, though, Microsoft doesn't go ahead and screw me the entire time by raising the price of Game Pass, not about a week after I make this video. Will be funny to see, though, I'll tell you that. Imagine if they did that, though. Like, I put this video out like, hey, you guys are being pro-consumer. Good job. And then all of a sudden, they're like, Game Pass, $35 a month. It's like, oh, great. Now I'm a flip-flopper. Now I'm just a flip-flop. You know, that'd be that whole thing. That would be my luck. That really would be my luck. You see, me predicting the future should not be a good thing. It's actually a bad thing. When I say something is going to happen, that is the worst outcome for consumers. Instead of you guys increasing the price of Game Pass, you're increasing the price of consoles and video games to $80. And look, people are going to be like, oh, blame Nintendo. No, No. I'm not going to blame Nintendo. Although they were the first ones to fire across the bow to say, hey, we're charging $80. There is no way on earth you can put the entire blame on Nintendo directly. What you can put the blame on, though, is the fact that companies and corporations have an army of simps going out to defend them and these price increases. Everything from trying to blame the tariffs, which honestly make no sense, we're going to debunk that as well, to going around and screaming things like support the devs as they have record layoffs and record profits in the same exact actual fiscal year, to going around and doing everything they possibly can by saying things like, I'll spend $100 for a video game if it's a quality, as we've talked about consistently. The problem isn't just the game companies. The problem isn't just Nintendo, because every other game company was raising their game prices when 2K did it first to $70, when Activision did it to $60 back in the 360 days. And what happens is every other game developer and company goes ahead and says, well, we're going to do it too. Instead of just actually bucking the trend, they say, well, if they're going to charge 10 more bucks, so can we. And that's what's going to happen. Now, GTA 6, I'm kind of thinking that's going to be a $100 game. And when that hits $100 and breaks the dam, what's going to happen? Every other game will hit $100. But you know what? Let's not put the cart before the horse. Let's see what actually happened in terms of pricing directly with these new changes, shall we? You see, Xbox put out a PDF with multiple different countries. One for the United Kingdom, one for the US, one for Europe, and one for Australia. And they each showed the breakdown and price increase of every single console and peripheral that will be happening basically immediately, by the way. And here's what they had to say. For the consoles, the Xbox Series S 512GB model is now $379. Almost $400 for a console that is supposed to be the budget entry model is now... It plays games at 720p upscaled at 30 FPS and you want $400 for it. I can't. That's the 512 model, by the way. The 1TB model, $429. Almost the price of a Nintendo Switch 2. You can't make this up. On top of that, the Xbox Series X digital is now $549. Why would you raise the price? It should go down, not up. These things don't gain value, they depreciate value, but it gets better. The Xbox Series X is now $599, $600 for a console. The Series X 2TB, the Galaxy Black Special Edition, is $729. It is more expensive than the PS5 Pro. The PS5 Pro is more powerful, does not have the disk drive, but it is $29 cheaper than the Series X 2TB when the Pro also has 2 terabytes. How do you sit there and make a scam look good? I just can't, bro. I just can't. What were they thinking? What were they absolutely thinking? And what's even more wild is when you look at the PS5 Slim, it's $499. It is literally $50 cheaper than the Xbox Series X digital version. So you're pricing yourselves out of the actual competition. What? There's so much going through my head right now. I have to collect myself. Hold on. Okay. And let's talk about this directly, shall we? The entire tariff argument that people are using. Oh, you gotta blame the orange men for the tariffs. No, this is not a tariff thing. Because if it was a tariff thing, it would only be impacting the US when it is not. It is impacting the entire world. It is impacting Australia, Europe, and the UK that do not have these tariff issues against China. So, trying to make this a political statement and argument is stupid. Don't do that. You're being a clown when you do. Microsoft going around and being the actual dumbest corporation I've ever seen truly is astounding to me. I thought they would have learned their lesson before, but apparently they never do. They always make the same mistakes over and over again. And watching a company that was supposed to be pro-consumer, which honestly is kind of wild to say for Microsoft to do it, to go ahead and talk about things like not manipulating people with increasing prices of games, not manipulating people with increasing prices of consoles, to go ahead and offer a viable alternative alternative for going ahead and saying, hey, look, here's where you can play all your games. Here's how you can access everything. What's going to happen with the handheld device? Is that going to be an $800 PC? Is that what's going to be happening now? Is your next console coming out going to just be a $1,000 PC that you go ahead and put Steam on it? Is that what you're going to do? Oh, here's our next console generation. It's a $800, but it's also a PC. Hell, if you're going to spend that much money, just buy a Starforge PC in the link in the description down below. At least you actually have a PC then. The idea of consoles is not to be a high-end luxury product. The idea of consoles are to be an affordable entry point into video games. That's why they are around $500 normally. That's why they are not as expensive as PCs. That's why console fanboys have always said,
I don't have to buy a $2,000 PC to get the same performance as I do on my PS5 Pro.
That's the whole point of them. They're not supposed to be insane luxury products. They're supposed to be available for the common consumer. And right now, increasing the price of the actual product when it should be going down instead, because your budgets are not my fucking concern, is the actual issue. And you know what really what really makes me crazy? Let me get close to you guys real quick. You know what really makes me crazy? Is the statement Microsoft made to IGN about these price increases. No, wait till you guys see what they said. And I quote via Microsoft directly, "We understand that these changes are challenging and they were made with careful consideration given market conditions and the rising cost of development. Looking ahead, we continue to focus on offering more ways to play more games across any screen and ensuring value for Xbox players." Can someone explain to me what value are you offering by increasing the price of things and talking about the cost of development? Your inability to budget video games is not my fucking concern. That is your problem to deal with. Explain to me how 30 people in France that got fired by Ubisoft can make a game that trumps everything out of the AAA market today and charges $50 for it that you lumped out for Game Pass to put it on your service, by the way, so you knew the value of it in the first place, and they can do it, but everybody else is going to charge $80? Explain that to me. Or the fact that you put out Oblivion Remastered with an Unreal Coat of Paint on it and you put it for $50 as well. But now you want to make games cost $80? You want to increase the price of consoles to $600? What's going to happen next gen? Are consoles going to be $600 flat and the Pro models are going to be $800? At that point, you might as well get yourself a PC because literally there's no point to having a console. This is an actual stupid argument directly. And the fact that so many people are sitting around not understanding why I'm angry and so many others. Trying to go ahead and provide excuses for these companies. Using things like the inflation calculator. Using things like, oh, the cost of games development and everything else is going up. Oh, I want my quality product. All of you clowns are the ones to blame. For years, you idiots, you morons, you have been sitting there gaslighting me, talking about like, oh, you're just broke. Get your money right, brokey. All you do is pirate video games. You don't spend any money or support the devs. You don't love this industry. Well, you know what? I love it enough to call it out when it's... You guys, on the other hand, are just a third guy of the human centipede going around talking about, oh, I can't wait for the first guy to finish his cuttlefish. That way it slides down my throat on the back end. Every single person that talked about, oh, games should be costing more money, getting angry at things today or trying to call Xbox out while still doing the same thing for PlayStation, you guys are all absolute clowns and hypocrites. Every single person defending Nintendo, absolute clown and hypocrite. And I've already seen it before. Why are PC guys getting mad, huh? Why would PC guys get mad about consoles increasing their prices and costs? Doesn't make any sense. You know why, you moron? It's because it impacts everybody. The fact that I've got morons like this guy running around like Gaz being like, oh, join the PC Master Race as he goes off and he spends $2,000 on a GPU that he's never going to use 10% of the actual performance of. That is a literal scam, by the way, because it says NVIDIA on the box and it's a 5090 when that GPU isn't even made for video games. It's made for 3D Futanari Blender animations. That's the problem. When I got clowns like him and everybody else going around spending top dollar because they just want to flex on Twitter for morons about their game collection, their wall of virginity behind them with all their game cases everywhere, talking about like, I own my games when half of them are digital. You didn't even own them in the first place. The reason why I get mad about price increases in this industry is because it does impact me and it does affect me. I don't want to spend more money on a worse or degraded product. I don't want to spend more money on video games that are stuttering messes of garbage that have DLC, day one microtransactions, early access for 2 days for $20 more, so $100 for a video game. I'm sick and tired of people taking a hobby that I love, that I care about, and sitting there and defending multi-billion and trillion-dollar corporations because they have feelings for them. Maybe grow a spine. This industry is cooked. Everything about this thing is cooked. The entire industry is going to have a reset and a crash because these companies are trying to go around and squeeze blood from a stone. And instead of actually trying to find new ways of gaining new customers, they're trying to milk you for all you're worth. And you're sitting there and accepting of it. This was the easiest thing for Microsoft to avoid. They would have looked like the golden child in front of everybody's eyes. As everybody raises the price of their consoles, raises the price of their games, they would have said, $20 a month Game Pass. Our consoles? No, we dropped the price on those bad boys. Those other guys? No, don't be like them. We're here for you. And they would have earned more customers and they would have had more people buy into their products, buy into their services than anybody else would have, because at the end of the day, I don't care how much of a fanboy you actually are, the money comes first. And the squeeze people are feeling right now is far greater than anybody could ever imagine. But instead, they chose to go ahead and follow the pack. The third guy in the human centipede, that's Microsoft. Either right in the middle or at the end. I'm guessing at the end right now, getting the worst of it. And you know what's crazy? What if PlayStation doesn't increase the cost of their consoles? What if PlayStation says, nah, you know what? We're not going to increase the cost. We're going to keep them the same. Microsoft would look like absolute clowns in the gaming industry. But I've got a feeling they're going to raise their console prices too. And their game prices too. Because right now, we are seeing a massive increase of companies trying to gouge you for every single penny they possibly can. So to everybody the past 5 years that called me broke, a pirate, scum, a dirtbag, not supporting the gaming industry, cheap, where are you now? Now you want to listen to me. Well, now it's too late. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me know what you guys think about this in the comment section down below. If you guys like this kind of content, subscribe. We're on our way to 82,000 subs. I really do appreciate it. We are doing more PC port reviews, gaming news, Steam Deck videos, fanboy content, hot takes in the gaming industry like this, and live streams every Saturday night, 8:45 p.m. Eastern. So come on down, hang out. Trust me, you won't be disappointed. If you want Discord access or emotes during live streams, become a YouTube member. It's as low as $1. If you don't want to spend the buck, don't sweat it. Better TTV emotes extensions on your browser gives you free animated emotes on YouTube, and the community is incredibly generous as well by gifting memberships all the time. You can also just come on down Saturday nights, 8:45 p.m. Eastern, and hang out with me and the chat as around 800 to 900 people insult me using TTS. No, I'm not kidding. It's a hell of a show. With all that being said, though, thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you have a great one, and I'll see you guys next time.